This is the Horse Radio Network.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us.
This is so New Jersey.
Dude, John Bon Jovi is my neighbor. Okay, so, or at least he was before he hit Brooklyn with his son. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our celebratory episode. We're talking 50 episodes we've accomplished. And Natalie and I are here today with a special guest from our clubhouse. Erin King is here to hang out with us. Hi, Erin.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Thanks for listening to us over the course of the last year and a half.
It's been amazing.
That's the real victory for everyone here is Erin's been listening. Thanks, babe.
Let's just hope you continue to listen after talking to us. Well, no, we've met you in person.
You have. Yeah. Up at the Pennsylvania Horse World Expo, I think is what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so fun.
And, you know, it's funny because going up there, I was like, I went up there specifically to meet you guys.
Oh,
like,
my God.
Obviously. You guys were the reason that I went up there. And I was so nervous, which now I'm just like, whatever. Like,
obviously, we're like friends.
We've met in person once, so we're besties now. I'm like,
and you know all our secrets. Like, I'm always buzzed or asleep. And
you're drunk now.
Yeah. And I just woke up from a nap like an hour and a half ago.
Oh, great.
So
you're in like that post-nap hangover mode.
Oh my God. I woke up, needed cupcakes, found out that the kids were at Publix, texted them, bring me cupcakes. It worked out so great. I'm having a great day. Day, guys.
Awesome. Man, I can't. My kids are younger than yours, so they don't drive yet, and I can't wait.
Wait, how old are your kids, Erin?
Mine are 13 and 11.
Okay, so I've got 13 and 15, and my current situation is I have 3 kids here. One of them isn't mine, and one of mine is at someone else's house. So I've just been driving kids back and forth all day. I did get to go to the barn, but like this is our situation. Like we're Uber drivers for teenagers.
Yes, yeah, and when my oldest is able to drive, I feel like it's going to be game changing. Like my entire summer. So my oldest is a competitive gymnast. And so she's in practice 20 hours a week over the summer.
Oh my God.
Thank goodness we have a neighbor who is on her team and we can carpool. Because last summer we didn't. And because the other girl was on a different team. And so this year we're able to carpool, but last summer we could not. And so getting to the barn was a nightmare because my barn is 45 minutes from my house.
Right.
And when I have a 4-hour window and an hour and a half of it is taken up driving, that's rough. It was a rough summer last year. This
I
summer
remember all that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the light at the end of the tunnel.
Natalie's going to brag right now. Okay, pause.
I'm telling you that it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, one day we won't have to drive them and they can bring us cupcakes, Heather.
No, what it's going to be is I'm going to have a driving Miss Daisy situation where like they're going to be taking turns driving me to happy hours and then driving my ass drunk home. Like that is going to be responsible parenting right there. Like they're going to learn.
You know what? They should because you raised them for so many years. They owe you a few DDing rides.
I agree. I've been the designated driver for years. I can't drink because, we have a house full of kids over, so I can't have that glass of wine in case there's an emergency. So now it's payback time. They're going to learn what it's like to be sober and take care of their mom. Okay.
And you know what? If you get started with it before they go off to school, then you will just be prepping them for the college years when they have to get used to being occasionally having to be the sober one and drive all of their stupid drunk friends around. Yep. So
that's true. But sending them to the store is great too.
Yeah. Like you did, right? Because so Natalie's situation is she's got a son in college and he is now living at home with her for the summer with his girlfriend and cat.
Yes.
So like she had freedom, and now it's like almost worse because she had a taste of it.
It's been loud. It's hard to get used to having people around, for sure.
Yeah, I get that. I'm hiding in the basement right now because the children were. One of them is watching a movie on the main level. The other one is upstairs playing this like ghost hunting video game that she and her friends are obsessed with. Yeah, not my thing, but she's obsessed with it.
Yeah, I have a gamer too.
So,
I have a gamer too. I get it.
And we just keep hearing like, "Oh no, it's coming!" from down the hall. So I was like, I'm gonna go hide in the basement where it'll be quiet.
Well,
that's
normally,
so funny.
my like, there's a reason. So I'm in my husband's office right now on the main level, but normally pre-flood, I have like my podcast studio is in my basement in a little corner. And so it's weird. I feel very exposed right now. Like I can't say all the bad words because like the kids are sitting 15 feet from me. Meanwhile, they're probably in background going, "Mom, we hear it all the time when you're driving."
Oh yeah, your kids cuss. Just, I don't want to burst any bubbles for you.
Oh no. They cuss in front of me too. They're like, "My mom said worse."
I mean, I had Calvin in Brooklyn, so I wasn't concerned. Like it wasn't even an issue. It's like that's how
he was
people
riding
talk.
the subway. He saw people shitting themselves. Okay,
No, he totally did. We walked past some bums like arguing about methadone one day. Like it's gonna be fine. I remember once I was walking around in Bay Ridge with him, and these kids were smoking weed outside of an apartment, and one of them put his hands behind his back, and he said, "Sorry, ma'am," and I was like, "Ma'am." Did this child smoking weed just ma'am me?
I mean, that's kind of sweet, though, that he was like, "Oh no, I have to be respectful." And
how do you
like,
know you're in an Italian
right
neighborhood? The kids call you ma'am when they hide their joints.
I mean, honestly, like I don't know about you, but like I get offended if I get ma'amed, and like, my family lives in the South now, so everyone is a ma'am. Right? Like you can tell your kids, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, all that. I'm sorry. I'm a miss and it will forever be a miss. Like I want to be Miss Heather for the rest of my fucking life. Okay. Like there's no ma'am here.
I mean, I don't even bother with that, but ma'am is creepy to me. I'm like,
yeah. I grew up always calling my parents' friends like Mr. and Mrs. last name. And I decided fairly early on, I was like, I'll be Miss Erin. They can call me Erin. Nobody's calling me Mrs. King.
Miss Erin,
Mrs. King, it's gonna weird me out.
Miss Erin sounds like a kindergarten teacher. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And most of my kids' friends just call me Erin. My youngest does have a friend who calls me Kaylee's mom, which is fine.
It's probably because they don't remember your name.
Yeah, because he doesn't remember my name.
Yeah, that's exactly
what it is. And just for the record, I was raised in a cult, and I called all my parents' friends brother and sister, whatever their last name was.
Yeah, well, again, this is Natalie, you don't have to one-up everybody, okay?
One.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny when I think about it. And my mom said one day, she's like, "I can't believe we used to walk around and people would call me Sister Keller." Like, I can't even believe that. I'm like, yep, that happens.
Like Natalie will always win because everything she does is like, well, I was in a fucking cult, okay? Like,
yeah.
I think Riverside just kicked me out.
No, I think you're there.
Are you? Because it told me to refresh my page.
Oh, it says you're recording. So
okay, cool.
I don't know.
If you lose me, then I can't one up you anymore. So it's a win for everyone.
Then it'll be the Heather and Erin show. Fuck off.
I feel like I deserve to one up you because I was raised in a cult, man.
I mean, yes, karma owes you something.
Yeah,
karma owes you something.
Yeah,
I never had a birthday party. But that's okay.
Really
I got a horse.
Natalie, you do have to refresh. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It says you had an issue now.
I have to.
We're going to talk about you while you're gone, okay?
Okay, have fun.
That's so weird because she's still there for me. I never had
No, she's there for me too, but like sometimes if you're not on Chrome River, like the fuck you, Natalie, the platform will sometimes kick her off and it's only her for some reason. I think this is karma acting out for all the one-upmanship that I deal with.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So like while she's gone, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about all the bad things about her? Like,
just everything we hate about Natalie.
I mean, how's her writing? Dora Brooke's really good. I mean, I've heard things now.
I mean, I have to say, I know that we're playing the, what can we talk about game, but I do love, I really love
like
Natalie's
her too.
books.
It sucks. I want to say something bad. I have nothing bad to say.
I know. Natalie's books are part of what got me back into horses as an adult.
I love that. And actually, you know what? That's not the first time she and I have heard that. Which is such an awesome thing. Which was their first book you read?
the first, I'm
I
trying
know
to
there's
remember.
like 40 of them.
I know there's 40 of them. It was either Flying Changes or Grabbing Maine, whichever is the first in that series.
Okay.
Okay. Or I guess duology.
I think Grabbing Maine was the first one I
think
read
so.
of hers.
Yeah.
Yeah. She actually, if I remember correctly, I believe she sent it to me and then and asked me what I thought because I was like a returning adult equestrian.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no. I read Grabbing Maine because, I'm a returning adult equestrian and so that was probably the first book I read of hers. And I really enjoyed it. I definitely related to it. That was for sure.
Yeah, it was incredibly relatable. I read it so back during like when everybody was in lockdown mode in 2020, when things had opened up a little bit over that summer, we were looking for something for the kids to do to get them out of the house. And so my youngest wanted to try horse camp. And so I put her in horse camp because I'm like, well, it's outside, like, it's socially distant. It'll be perfect. And I rode as a kid, but I hadn't ridden in many, many years. And so I'm like, while I'm here, maybe I should take a lesson or two. And so I took a lesson or two, and then we went into this year of distance learning where the kids were doing everything virtually.
That was so hard.
It was really hard. And my friend and I kind of combined forces. And so we had 3 4th graders and then my, at the time, 2nd grader all at my house. And we kind of just tag team managed the kids while they were doing all of their distance learning. But it meant that we had a lot of downtime while they were doing all their distance learning. So I got back into reading that I hadn't had a whole lot of time for. And Natalie's book was one of the first ones that I had picked up during that time. And I was like, man, this makes me like really want to like not just take like a lesson or two here and there, but like really get into it. And then in like March of that year, I bought a horse. So,
oh my God, that's amazing. I was going to say, so do you lease or do you own? So that's cool. What type of riding do you do?
I am a baby eventer.
Okay. Oh my God, you're brave.
Like, well, I say baby eventing as in like we do like starter. Like we don't
still more than I do.
We don't. I was traumatized as a small child, being asked to jump before I was ready to. I've always been a very timid rider, and it was like the 3rd time I'd ever been on a horse, and my instructor was like, "Go jump that." It was, it was like the
that's their problem.
The once a week up down lessons where just the horses know their job, and we just had to sit there and be passengers. And I mean, the pony knew what she was supposed to be doing, and she took me over the fence, and it was fine. But it did definitely traumatize me and made me never want to jump ever again.
That's so hard. And that's why I always say too, like with people, you have to go at your own pace. But when you're a kid and you're trusting someone who's telling you that that's what you're going to do, you don't really feel like you can say no. And so, I mean, listen, I grew up, I was bronked off. There was a horse that used to take people into the lake, and then they would like to give me that horse. Never took me into the lake. Like I learned to ride, but it was because I had really difficult horses, and I felt like they always gave me the challenging ones, and I just burned out. Like I was like, if this is what it's like, it's not relaxing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I hated it. And so even now I struggle with like the skill versus the confidence. Like I can ride any horse, but I certainly don't want to. Right.
Yeah.
Like I get really in my head.
There was a lesson horse before I bought Tink. There was a lesson horse that I rode a couple of times named Linus, and on the ground he was very sweet, but under saddle he was just an absolute dick. And I fell off of him once, and that one was not completely his fault. We had I wanted to go around a thing, and he wanted to go around the thing the other way, and so we compromised and both went the way we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I ended up with my first ever concussion. And it wasn't a terrible one, but still, not fun. And then a couple weeks later, I don't know what he got mad at me about, but he bucked me off. And it's the only time I've ever had an instructor or trainer say, that wasn't you, that was the horse being an asshole.
Wow.
And it getting bucked off like that, like really soured
like a
my
dirty
confidence.
buck. Yeah.
It was a dirty buck, and I hit the wall, and it was not nearly as bad as when I fell off when we decided to go our separate ways. But the fact that it was an intentional thing on the horse's part really just like really, really shook me.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things like it feels personal right? And
Yeah.
like, you're supposed to be a team, you're supposed to be partners, and then they do that. Like, I was a couple weeks ago, I did my first ever hunter pace, and that was terrifying. But I did it with my daughter's pony, who has been it's like wonderful, so wonderful. And we're not 2 miles in, and he bolts. We're in the woods, and we're just crossing the water, and there's like 6 horses in front of me, and I'm like, fuck, right?
Yeah.
Handled it. Everything was fine. And then we get out to the field, and these horses are all hopped up that were ahead of us. We were now ahead of them, and they start cantering past us. And I was like, can you please not? My horse is like really up right now. And they proceed to just come past us. And then I keep him calm. He then sees them. He bolts. When I held him back, he bucks. And then I could not get him back. And I'm trying to like turn him around. And then finally he drops his shoulder, spooks, and bucks. And that was deliberate. So he was escalating. And I was like, this horse is now trying to get me off, and we are done. Like, there was no helping that situation.
Yeah. No. And see, that's a case where I say you're brave. Like, I think in theory, a hunter pace sounds like a lot of fun, but I also know that I would be absolutely terrified the entire time. My horse is, she's an off-track thoroughbred. If anybody gets ahead of her, she's gonna take off. And my mare is an absolute saint. I am so incredibly lucky, I don't think that she would bolt, but she would go into racehorse mode. Because that's what she did for a number of years.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't blame her for it.
She'd start getting strong. Like, she'd get up, and that's for a timid rider. That is, that's it for me. Like, I'll almost shut down.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a hard situation to admit, you know, but if I am also getting nervous, and my horse is going up, then there's no winning in that situation. If a straight up fight between the two of us is not going to go well. And so I chose, once I couldn't get him to calm down, and I did everything. I was leg yielding. I was turning him around to walk back to the horse. I was coming around trees. He would not calm down. And I was like, you know, I have to call it, because I'm going to end up on the ground with a loose horse. This isn't going to go well. And so now I know what I have to work on, and I know kind of what we have to do. But I did lose a little bit of that confidence, because he had been so great up until, he was so good that I was like, let's do 100 pace together.
Right.
You know, so it's tough. And hopefully this is Natalie coming back in, because
I hope so.
She's otherwise this is just the Heather and Erin show.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. Really, we'll be honest, Natalie's the talent here.
Sorry, everybody. Everybody else wants to hear Natalie talk, but they get me instead.
Know. And well, same. That's how I usually feel. We're just here for Natalie. Oh, let's see. It's having trouble sharing her audio and video with others due to internet problems.
Oh.
She lives in the woods, and my guess is, I'm hosting this. It should be just recording to her computer, but I don't know if you see screen. It says help my computer, I'm poor.
Yeah. I see help my computer, I'm.
Oh, okay. It says she's poor.
Okay.
So Natalie, are you there? It says it's recording her, but it can't share her mic or camera. Oh, this is sad.
This is sad.
I know. Well, I did call it though. Did I did I not say there might be technical issues?
You did. I'm just glad I have to say, I'm glad it's not me. Because I went to log in and Chrome was like, oh, you're due for an update. We're not going to let you log in until you update. And luckily it was very quick, but I was like, this is going to be one of those updates that takes like 3 hours.
Well, and I did that too, just before everybody logged on. I was like, let me, just in case.
It didn't even occur to me until I tried to log in that there might be a possibility that I would need to update.
Yeah.
But
and I guess there's a reason. We always record as live. Hold on. She said, help. I think it's my computer, not my internet. It's going so slowly with this window.
No. So what I'm hearing is that we need a GoFundMe to get Natalie a new computer.
Yes. I think that's what we need to do. I'm just going to type her a note now. She says yes.
Yes.
We're just going to read her messages. I don't know if we can see this, but hopefully everybody can. We can download the chat later. So Natalie's now in the chat, and she said, this is awful help. And she's yelling. I just realized
there is a chat. I haven't used this platform before, so.
No, it's a fun, she's trapped in the window.
Oh no.
So this is now a ghost story situation.
Oh man, it's just like the game my kid is playing upstairs.
Right. We're just, oh my God, this is going to be the next movie that comes out. It's going to be some kind of like podcasters get stuck in the computer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, I feel bad. Well, and she didn't hear all the bad and good things we were saying about her.
I
So she'll have to
know.
catch this pre-recorded.
Yeah.
She just... Do you want to read this one? Can you see this chat?
Oh no, I don't see that one. Oh, she says I'm behind your faucet. Oh no.
Only if that faucet is emitting gin will I be worried.
Yeah.
Cold
showers for all. Oh, now that is the true horror story.
Oh my God.
You will pry my boiling hot showers from my cold dead hands.
Seriously. Oh my God. Well, I mean, listen, it's as much fun as it is to talk with you. Like, I feel bad that you don't get to talk with Natalie as much.
Well, I mean, we're talking through the chat.
That is true. It's basically like a ghost in the machine.
That is true.
But what was I going to say? So what type of things? Oh, she's just drinking. So she's fine.
She's living her best life right now.
She's fine. What types of things do you like to do with your horse?
So, it's tough because we're in, like I was saying before, we're in summer gymnastics time. And the past 2 weeks have been this weird combination of out of town, sick, I somehow managed to schedule like every doctor's appointment that me or the children could possibly need all for the same week.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to I went to the barn on Wednesday for long enough to groom her. But other than that, it's been 2 weeks since I've seen her. So right now we do a lot of nothing.
That's my horse's favorite time.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I don't think Tink cares. She's been getting a couple training rides from my trainer and she probably hates me for that. Because Rachel works her much, much harder than I do. Mm-hmm. But we've been...
But isn't it good though? Because then you're the favorite.
Yes, it is. It is very good. It's good for me for Tink to get a little bit of a tune-up and be reminded how she's supposed to go. Mm-hmm. But we've been focusing more on flat work than on jumping lately. You are
still jumping and doing the nice...
Still jumping.
Okay.
It's funny because I got into eventing because I ended up with trainers who were eventers. Just that was kind of the way it shook out. At the lesson barn that I was at, they put me with one of the eventing trainers rather than one of the hunter trainers. And that kind of changed made the whole trajectory of my adult equestrian life. But my favorite phase is dressage, which I know every equestrian listening or every eventer listening right now is probably screaming like, what is wrong with you? Show jump is my least favorite. For some reason, there is something about show jump that just scares the crap out of me. If I can make it through show jump, then cross country is like a nice little treat at the end of the thing. But yeah.
So it's less scary for you to jump cross country jumps?
Yeah. Which is that not the most bizarre and like illogical thing you've ever heard?
Well, I mean, yes and no, because you did say that you had some trauma when you were a kid. So like maybe it's related to that, like arena work or
I think it's partly that. And I also we don't jump anything on cross country that she can't just step over at a walk. So I feel the one 3-phase show that we did most of cross country at a walk because she ran out enough times that I was like, if you run out one more time, we get eliminated. And I am not going to get eliminated this far in. So we did a lot of, we walked and we stepped over things because she could not run out if we were not running. I like to joke that we had a top 10 finish because we came in 9th out of 9.
Hey, but it happened.
And you didn't get disqualified. I didn't get disqualified. I stayed in the saddle. That was really my goal for the whole thing. So I'm very proud of that. But I think with the show jump, I think part of it also is that I have this completely illogical fear in my head, or I thought it was illogical, that if she knocks a pole down, the pole is going to go forward and she's going to step on it and do like a log rolling situation.
Yeah, and
we're both going to die. And my trainers keep telling me, they're like, that doesn't happen. That is ridiculous. Stop thinking about that. And then I read the first book in Natalie's eventing series, where that literally happens at the very beginning. And I was like, it does happen. It may only happen in this book, but I am not the only person who's thought that this is a thing that could happen.
No.
So
yeah.
I felt so validated when I read that book.
It's like sometimes it's like she's an equestrian herself and has seen and done it all. I was talking to my trainer the other day. We had a quote unquote lesson. It was my first time back after 2 weeks of bronchitis. And our arena is all sand. And so it gets, deep around the jumps, and then it gets packed. And then, it's a little uneven. The horses have to really watch their feet. And we were joking, but we were talking about how on trails, neither one of us relaxes because we're always looking at the footing. Like I'm always paying attention to the footing. And that's why I lead a lot of the trail rides. And so we were talking about that because and I've seen this happen. Like when I was in Mongolia, Natalie's going to be like, oh, you're talking about Mongolia again? Mongol Derby is happening. Okay. So like it's on my brain. But when I was there, they have these marmot holes. And so it is a very realistic thing where the ground is all holy and you're riding and suddenly your horse is up to a knee and is rotational falling. And so there were areas where like the nomads would grab my reins and hold on to me because they were afraid I would go down. And a friend of mine did and ended up tumbling into the horse's hooves in front of her and then having to catch her horse and get back on. Like this is a legit problem.
Yeah.
So like I even in my arena, I'm paying attention to the ground. Like if my horse stumbles, I'm sitting back and lifting. Like I'm already there. So like the falling of the horse for me is scarier than me falling off on my own because what if they fall on top of you?
Well, exactly. Like if I fall off on my own, I'm just going to hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. And I mean, like, yeah, I might break something, but the horse is going to be fine.
Right.
If we both fall, not
then
only
everybody's
is that,
fucked.
not only is that an opportunity for both of us to be injured, but yeah, like you said, what if she falls on me?
Right.
What if
it's a legit fear?
Yeah, because they weigh a lot, and if they fall on you, it's not going to feel good.
No, and they don't want to. Like it's accidents happen, and it's so I. As a timid rider and an overthinker, I'm always doing the what ifs. Like, what if there's a hole? What if there's a slap drop off and my horse shies to the side? Like what? And so I'm a defensive rider. Like I expect something to go down, so I'm always ready. And it does cause a little bit of anxiety. But the more like I ride and the more I work with my horse to really communicate well, the better I feel. All right.
Yay.
Could this be true? Oh my God, it's Natalie.
Maybe.
It's Natalie. I see you.
I don't know what the sound is like. Is there any sound?
I see you. We're going with it.
I can see and hear you, so.
Wow. Welcome to the tail end of the podcast, Natalie.
So kind of you to show up.
Seriously, we've been talking terribly about you this whole time.
As well you should.
Someone needs to keep you humble, and it's my job.
Yeah. You're wicked godmother.
Yeah. No, we were talking about how relatable your books are and then other fun things. So
anything else about me you want to say?
We're starting a GoFundMe so you can get a new fucking computer. Okay.
Okay, so my friends the Disney hipsters did a GoFundMe for like really nice mics. And then their adoption went through and they got a child, and that was the end of the podcast. They used them like 3 times.
So what you're saying is if we do a GoFundMe and get you a new computer, all of a sudden we get no more podcast and no more books.
No, but I might adopt a thoroughbred or something.
I mean, that's fine.
The theme was adoption.
I thought you meant the theme was no more of
giving
the
up
thing.
the podcast. Yeah, exactly. Well, we're not like Tori spelling out here trying to do a GoFundMe for weird things. So.
Yeah, and I've never done anything on my big computer. So here's my big computer.
We're now in the depths of Natalie's house.
Well, this is the living room. So behind me is my record player, and look, there's my signed Matt Berninger album. That's pretty exciting. And all my records are down there. And,
where's your Corey?
Is
he going to make an appearance?
I can't turn this all the way around, but he's over
hi,
there looking
Corey.
at me. Heather says hi.
He's like, when are you done so I can keep doing what I was doing before with privacy?
He's reading one of my books.
Oh, No, that is nice.
I think that's sweet.
He found an error in it.
Well, that's what he does. He copy edits for you. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he's not reading like an already published one. He's like helping you out right now.
I mean, this version of it's been published. It's not supposed to have any errors. There are other versions that have more errors.
Well, Natalie, before we go, we were talking about how Erin is a baby eventer. We were talking about. Should we just let you go? Or go?
No, I want to hear you.
We were talking about how Erin is a baby eventer and how show jumping is her least favorite.
Yay, because show jumping is the absolute worst.
It is. It's scary and I don't like it.
Why are the jumps so close together? Why is the ground so hard in the arena? Don't like that. Why do you have to turn at a fence constantly? Like, I can't just
so
keep
many bending lines, right?
Yeah, like you have to be it's like playing chess out there. You have to be thinking like 3 jumps ahead so that you get your line correctly. And like, I mean, I told Heather, like, I do like starter, like baby eventing. And so I have plenty of space. I don't have difficult questions that are being asked of me out there. But still, when that's the level that you do, it does feel really difficult. And it feels like I have to be thinking 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
So
chess is a really good comparison. I'm stealing that. That's mine now. And
oh, there are my dogs. Sorry.
Puppy. I ride a quarter horse, so like I'm riding a tank. You know, I'm not making that turn unless everything is perfect. Yeah. He's just too much of a round boy, and his spine doesn't bend that way, and his body doesn't lift that way. Like, he's not with me, so we're just not. I don't know if I'll ever event Ben, because he's pretty adamant that maybe that's not his thing.
That's fair.
So we're doing dressage. But how fun is it to do dressage on a fancy little?
I like doing dressage work because I feel like it's actually harder to be precise and technical.
And it feels really good when you get it. And there's never like a moment where you go, oh, if I get this wrong, I'll die. It's not like that.
Although so today I pulled out, this is my second ride of the week. Okay. I'm just like,
good for you.
I know. And I rode Ferris in a hackamore because it was like 85 degrees.
Sunday. How was
what? Whatever. I'm just back from an illness where I almost died. Shush. So I'm like riding and I'm in a hackamore because I can only do that during the summer. I do the same thing, Erin. And
bonus child.
Yeah.
You
get a bonus kid on the show. It's fine.
I get it. And then we start off with the hackamore, like learning to brake and steer, because like at first you don't have any steering or brakes because they're like freedom and they just go. But by the time we were done, we were actually like, I was riding with my body. He was really beautiful foundation, like where he's like posture is great. Like everything felt beautiful. And I was like, my God, we're fucking good. And like, there's no better feeling, even if it's 5 steps, than doing it and feeling amazing. And like, that's the way I like dressage, that and music. You can do music.
I mean, dressage might be the ultimate adulting discipline, because you can work for 20 minutes, get 3 brilliant minutes, and feel totally great about getting off and moving on with your day. Like, you did the thing.
You did it.
You got the 3 minutes.
We did it.
Yeah, 1 good halt.
Yeah,
bye.
I mean, I have definitely had lessons where I get a good halt and I'm like, all right, I'm done. They're like,
exactly.
Well, we still have like 15 minutes left. I'm like, nope. Did you see that halt? It was so square. I'm done.
Oh my God, Erin, we need to ride together. We'll never get anything done. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do so many square halts though.
I mean, I literally, that's okay. My pony is trained to halt square. And like, I've walked out of a lesson halfway through thinking it was over because I just was so proud of myself. I just walked out, and my friends kept going, and they were like, "Where did Heather go?" And I was like, I'm completely clueless.
You know, that's one thing that my trainer says to me all the time. She's like, it's better to do a short amount of really good work than to be in the arena for 2 hours doing nothing. Yeah. She's like, so if you hit a point in a lesson when you're like, you know what, I feel really good about that and I would like to be done. She's like, we can be done. I don't care if you've only been up there for 20 minutes.
See, that's how you know you have a good trainer, because I said the same thing. And my daughter was hacking today, and she just started out and she was riding her pony. I said, what is your plan for the day? She goes, what do you mean? I said, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do with your pony? She goes, I want to work on the sitting trot. I'm like, okay, great. Here's what you're going to do. And I gave her, she has trouble in the corners. And I was like, you're going to sit trot the corners to get your balance. And then you're going to open it up on the long sides. And you're going to keep doing that. And then you're going to change direction. And she was like, this is cool. I'm like, yeah, because just because you're hacking every time I ride, every single time I ride, even if it's just a laid back ride, I always have a plan of what I want to work on. Do I want to work on shoulders in? Do I want to turn on the haunches? Like, what do I want to work on today? Because if I don't have a plan, I'm just going to sit there. Like, I'm just going to sit there.
Yeah, you just look at your watch. You're like, have I been here long enough? And I'm like, am I saying this about riding horses? Have I done this long enough? Do I know myself at all? Yeah. I usually will stay on, like, especially like you get that really good, you get a trot to a halt and you're like, oh my God, his left leg is actually underneath
Didn't slip
him.
out.
This never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't slip out. I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to keep going because fitness is a thing, but we're going to walk, we're going to walk for 20 minutes, but I can't try halting again.
Because that was perfect.
I don't know if I'm going to get it.
It was perfect.
Yeah. And that it does kind of suck when you get you nail your goal, like 5 minutes into the ride and you're like, well, shit. Now I guess we're just going to walk and have a really gentle ride. And because you don't want to get off after 5 minutes, but
I mean,
that's an easy
sometimes
goal,
I do. It depends on how hot it is.
Good for you.
Well, I very rarely meet my goal within the first 5 minutes, I will admit.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Usually it just takes me 5 to 10, 10 to warm up the pony. Yeah. And then after that, we kind of work through things. But
Ben doesn't wake up.
Yeah, it's got to be at least a 10-minute, and then I got to cool him out, especially in the summer. Like in the winter, he's ready to go. But I was just saying, so we're a couple minutes in. I know now we had a problem, but we usually end with an adulting win of the week. So I thought maybe it would be nice. I love Natalie always looks like a deer in headlights because she's surprised
I'm like,
every single time
no.
when I say, let's do an adulting win of the week. And she's like, oh, fuck. I didn't.
Even if I wrote it down,
you wouldn't remember it. No.
It's not how my brain
That's okay.
works.
I haven't thought of one either, but I'm just saying, like, let's just do like a quick little adulting win of the week to close it all off.
Well, for me, it's the first day of the week. For me, obviously, it's the second day of the week for you. That's fine. And today I wrote myself into getting up and doing something. Like I was saying before, like with my journaling, I'm like motivating myself to actually do something. And today I wrote 1,500 words. I went to the gym. I took a nap. This entire day was a win.
Sounds like it. And you got to talk to us.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Clearly.
Right. You guys.
My adulting win is that I wasn't the one with technological issues this time.
That's all of our wins since you're the one recording.
And I got to ride the pony.
That's good.
Yeah, yay.
My adulting win of the week is being here. Because this is super fun and it's very cool to get to talk to you guys. And also I showed up on time and didn't have technological issues. So.
Yeah, you're winning.
Yeah, you did.
I think you want a job?
Yeah.
Natalie's fired.
Oh no.
I have to go on a leave of absence and buy a computer.
Oh no.
No, thank you so much, Erin, for coming on and for listening to us and still wanting to talk to us.
Yeah, no, I love the podcast. I suggest to all of my barn friends that they should listen to you guys. And I think some of them actually have taken my very good advice and downloaded the show and listened to it. So yeah.
Excellent.
You obviously have good taste. I mean, you have a thoroughbred and you listen to us. I mean, clearly, and you might actually be a writer yourself.
That's true. That's actually another win of the week for me is that I did actually get some writing done this weekend. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Do you have anything out there right now?
I have a novella out right now. It's a little Christmas novella called Here Comes Santa Claus. It's like a little, kind of insta-love, only one bed situation.
With Santa Claus?
Well, with a guy dressed as Santa Claus.
Okay.
I know you're laughing, but did you guys read the Santa Claus erotica a year ago?
Intentionally did not.
That's not your vibe. Funny. It's not your trope.
I mean, look, I own the Gore book and I own the balloon animals book. But somehow Santa just wasn't my vibe.
Yeah, I'm not into Holly
Santa
Jolly.
Claus is Going to Town on Me is a funny erotic novel.
Oh,
and
all right, I
might need links. Okay,
tell us your title.
Well, Erin, you have to send us the link to your book.
Yeah,
your novella.
I can send you the link to my book.
Yeah, and it's because it's Christmas in July soon.
True.
I think
I'm What's the book title?
The book title is Here Comes Santa Claus.
Literally.
That's what you said that, and I got distracted immediately.
Is it spicy?
Here comes
It
Santa
is
Claus.
spicy.
Ooh, here comes Santa Claus.
And
That's
you know,
what I
fun
thought.
story, I couldn't decide between Here Comes Santa Claus and Santa Claus is Coming to Town, or Santa Claus is Coming. And I regularly tell people the wrong title because I can never remember which one I decided on.
Well, you
But-
could do both, really. It could be like 2 books.
That's true. That's true.
I think Here Comes Santa Claus.
I knew.
Good.
It's
I like
catchy.
that.
It's fun.
My friends and I decided that, like my writer friends and I decided that it was a little less potentially gross.
Oh, please. So I when I came out with the novella for the Green Mountain Romance, I called it Slay All Day because I thought it was punny, right?
Mhm.
And my teenagers are like, "Oh my God, Mom, that is so cringe. Like, you need to stop." And I was like, okay, I thought it was great. I thought it was funny, but apparently I'm embarrassing to my children. So,
Well, like number one, it's not for 13-year-olds.
definitely
so
not.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's clean, but still not intended for.
It's for old people. We've inherited your language. It's
I know,
ours
we
now.
started
We
it.
claim it.
Yeah.
We started the slave phenomenon. So, you know.
I don't know where it came from.
Well, I think it's back from like the 90s or 2000s, right? Like slay
really?
queen, slay
I
queen,
missed the
you know,
2000s.
that kind of thing.
I was not there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe I've been hanging out with too many drag queens.
I was gonna say I thought it came from drag queens, but what do I know?
Because I actually did just go to a drag show, so like maybe
that's
that's
fun.
why. Oh yeah, it was kind of like a nod. It wasn't. So I grew up like I went to Lucky Chang's in New York as the drag show. Like that was the end all be all. This was the small town version. They came from Philly, but it was more like a variety show.
Okay.
And I did get a little bit of video on my personal Instagram. It was mostly like a stripper, an aerialist, a drag king who wanted to be Harry Styles and couldn't dance, and then a drag queen dressed as an alien. So it was a weird vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd still do it again, but I feel like if I need a second job, it might be an option.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we know you
Well,
can dance.
I could dance better than Harry Styles, drag king. So, not trying to throw shade. Like I give mad props. He gets paid for this. So, but it was just like, I feel like I could do this too.
Yeah.
You know, I could do this. Anywho, off on a tangent I am. So I'm going to go ahead and play our little outro. And Erin, thank you so much again for coming on and chatting with us.
I had fun. Even though Natalie had issues, I still had fun.
Natalie always has issues. That's like how we're friends.
friends.
Is we have issues but have fun together.
I got the full experience then.
You really did. You really did.
Thank you for being a little weird with us, Horse Girl. If you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your player of choice. Follow us on Instagram at Adulting with Horses Podcast, or even better, join our Adulting with Horses Clubhouse on Facebook, where you can become part of the show. Also, it's a great place to meet other horse crazy women.